In this episode, we are going to take a look at a book that is one of my prized possessions. So, stick around. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. My name is Rob, and in this episode, we are going to take a look at one of my prized possessions. It is an Encyclopedia of Monsters, and I thought that would be perfect for us to wrap up the Halloween season by taking a look at it. It's a book from 1989 written by Jeff Rovin, and if you know, you know. He wrote some of the most awesome encyclopedias of the 80s. Superheroes, supervillains, robots, aliens, what have you. He covered everything. And he looked at everything from B-movie and B-comic book characters to the top tier awesome ones. And folklore and, things like that sprinkled in between. Anyway, to a lot of you 80s kids out there, he might be better known for his handbook on how to beat Nintendo games, or whatever it was called. I have it here because I'm just a sucker for Jeff Rovin stuff, so I had to pick it up. Unfortunately, I don't see it at the moment, but I'll throw up a picture or something so you know what I'm talking about, because I'm sure I'm butchering the name. But anyway, enough of that. Let's head over here and take a look at the book. Okay, folks, here is the Encyclopedia of Monsters, written by Jeff Rovin. It was released in 1989, and as you can see, they have copyright-friendly Universal Monsters on the front, and a copyright-friendly, like, Robbie the Robot in the background. Now, I could flip through this book for hours, but we're just going to do a quick flip through and then take a look at a couple of the monsters that I picked out that, should be fun to take a look at. So, and I have not shot down like this in a very, very long time for a book review. But as you can see, it has plenty of black and white photography. Look, here's the Beast from the 1963 film. It has old comic book monsters like the Black Clouds from Adventures into the Unknown comic. Has a lot of B-movie monsters. But to me, it feels like it's missing a lot of 80s monsters. Now, some of those might actually be in the Encyclopedia of Supervillains book. Like one that jumps to mind is like Jason Voorhees. Because back then he might not have been seen as a monster, but more of a villain. But I really wish they would do a newer one of these that kind of fills the gap from 89 to 2024. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? With like Art the Clown or Chucky. Actually, I'll see if Chucky's in here. And we'll come back to, look, there's Cthulhu. Critters. No Chucky. Is it under Child's Play? Look, the Creeps from Night of the Creeps. That's cool. The Crawling Eyes. Chickenstein's Monster from Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham. I mean, Jeff Rovin, really dug deep to find some of these monsters. And like I said, it's really weird that some of the big ones aren't listed. I mean, Chucky was out way before this was published. But maybe, again, he falls under villain and not monster. I don't know. But let's start by taking a look at Madballs. First appearance 85 from Amtoy. Species, anthropomorphic balls. Size, 3¼ inches in diameter. Features and powers. The Madballs are rubber balls that bounce. The biography. Nothing is known about these monsters, save that they are extremely repulsive. They were released in 2 groupings. The first consisted of Slobulus, a gruesome drooler with one eye dangling for gross fun. Arg! A real bruiser with a one-eyed stare and lots of scare. Hornhead, a dead ringer for the Cyclops from, Sinbad, which I always liked that. Screaming Mimi, a crazy baseball with a ghastly grin. Oculus Orbis, a big bloodshot eyeball to freak out your friends. Dust Brain, a dried-up mummy head who's not too tightly wrapped. Skullface, a mask of bone, teeth, and frightening delight. And Crackhead, a half-exposed brain that brings slime to mind. The second group, manufactured in 1986, were the Medusa-like snake bait, the fanged purple-skinned boar-like swine sucker. I love the pig out. Fist Face, a giant fist with an eyeball in the crook of the thumb. Bruiser Brother, a grotesque biker. I used to ride with Hex Angels, but they were too sissy for me. Freaky Fullback, a bloodied football player. I wanted to be a barber, but I kept getting penalized for clipping. Splitting Headache, whose face is half blue, half flesh, and entirely repulsive. The day I was born, my father looked at me and said, I've got a splitting headache. Lock Lips, a green-skinned ugly with a padlock on his mouth and a metal patch over one eye. And Wolf Breath, a werewolf. My personal favorite Madball. Comment. In the Marvel comic book, first published in 1986, the original set of Madballs were friendly to children, though they were not above disrupting classrooms and performing other kinds of mischief. The second group, however, was malevolent, not only to kids, but also to the original Madballs. Other lines of revolting rubber balls were Weird Balls from Melopel in 86, consisting of Spitball, Wormskull, Sewer Face, Warthog, Shrinkhead, and Snotnose. Also, the Zombie Zoo from L&N Sales in 86, consisting of Wartrus, Rhino Rap, Bone Breath, Bloody Bull, Eyeless Elephant, or it's just Elephant, sorry, Crazed Cat, Vein Brain, Monkey Mash, and the dozen Crazy Balls, which had neither names nor any listed manufacturer. None of these latter monsters achieved the enormous success of the original Madballs, which were also produced in football and soccer ball versions. I mean, that is cool to have an encyclopedia with Madballs in it. I mean, perfect 80s goodness, and always here to, read up on. Yeah, these books are a great little time machine into the 80s. Now, the next one I want to look at is, if I can find it here, The Monster Mayor from Tales of the Unexpected comic. His real name was Elroy Barnes. His first appearance, 1966, The Monster Mayor, Tales of the Unexpected, number 94, DC Comics. Species, hallucination. Gender, male. Size, human-sized. Features and powers. The Monster Mayor has green lumpy skin and spiny, fin-like ears. He has no special powers. Biography. Asked to run for mayor of Belmontville, a town his father founded, attorney Joe Belmont can't make up his mind until a small, benevolent space cloud known as the Green Glob causes him to hallucinate, to imagine that crooked candidate Elroy Barnes and his cohorts are vicious monsters. Belmont dreams that he's sentenced to death by the creatures, escapes the prison, and is shot at by Barnes and hounded by his dart-throwing monster flunkies. Finally, awaiting and realizing what a monster Barnes really is, Belmont opts to run for office. Comments. The Green Glob parables appear irregularly,
Sorry about my pronunciation, folks. And Tales of the Unexpected. The rest of the monsters in this tale, some 20 in all, were also humanoid, their skin ranging from shaggy to clay-like. See, so you have these throwaway, like, monsters from DC Comics who, yeah, they went whole hog on monsters back in the day. I mean, all the time. Superman would be fighting a different monster. Batman would be fighting a different monster. They had these horror comics or sci-fi comics with different monsters, month after month after month. It was crazy. Now, let's think of another 80s monster toy. I know. Why don't we take a look at Manglors? See if they're in here. Manglors, look at that, and actual pictures of them. So we're gonna read this one and then maybe end it there. I don't want to run too long, and yeah, you get the gist of this awesome encyclopedia. So it says Manglors, T for toy. First appearance, 1983. Manglors alien action figures from Ideal Toys. Species, extraterrestrial. Features and powers. Manglors have super elastic bodies which enable them to stretch. They also possess super adhesive properties which enable them to stick to the trunks of the mammoth trees of their home world. So doing, they can ambush prey or adversaries. Should the worst come to pass, and the Manglors are defeated, they use their powers to reattach severed limbs. Manglors also have the power to reshape their bodies at will, into rocks or logs, to disguise themselves as they slept. Upon waking, they automatically resume their normal forms. The aliens were able to travel to other worlds once Manglor Mountain was created. A volcanic fortress. It allows them to regenerate their bodies outside the hot, fiery environment of their home planet. Biography. Little is known about the Manglor's home world, save that it is a harsh volcanic planet circling distant Betelgeuse, the red giant star. The creatures arose long ago on the world, able to come to Earth once Manglor Mountain was functional. The Manglors intended to take over our more climate-agreeable world. There are 3 alien monsters in all. Manglosaurus, a terrible lizard-like creature who resembles an allosaur. Mangoldactyl, feared winged hunter whose name means terror from the sky and who looks like a prehistoric pterodon. And Manglord, the slimy but humanoid leader of a race of tribal hunters. A ferocious warrior chieftain who has mastered the art of survival against all odds. Comment, these toys were only moderately successful. And that's what we have. So anyway, we just took a quick look at this awesome Encyclopedia of Monsters. Originally $23.95. Look how thick this book is for such a fair price. Now, some of the other ones have colored plates in them. Unfortunately, this one does not. Now, here's a question. Let's look at something from folklore real quick. Like the kappa from Japanese folklore, a yokai, and they don't have it. They have kelpies, F for folklore, but no kappas. Interesting. Anyway, yes, there's a few things missing. There's a few things that are really out of date. But, like I said, it's a great little time machine into the monster scene in 1989. For the most part. It's really extensive for earlier decades, but yeah, cool nonetheless. Big fan of Jeff Rovin and his encyclopedias. So, thank you for allowing me to indulge during this Halloween season, and happy Halloween. Now, back to me.
Anyway, back to me. I hope you enjoyed this. I mean, it's kinda boring, I would assume, to just flip through a book and have me read a couple of the entries out of it. But I don't know a better way to, show my love and support for this book. or any book, really. I mean, when I do the kids' books, at least they have more colorful, funny pictures and things like that to joke around about. Now this, I mean, it's encyclopedia, cut and dry, and it's awesome. I have tracked down these books over the years, and I enjoy all the time that I've spent reading them, and I've even gotten into scuffles with friends because I got to the shelf first and was able to buy them, like at used bookstores. And it's like, well, can I chip in and we share it? No, my friend, this is going into my collection. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.